See what the prop's like, give it a little bit of a scrub. I think I'm going to stay in long though.
No.
Okay,
I'll just keep rolling, shall I?
Yes.
A few seconds.
Woo! That is gold.
Hello and welcome to Venice. It's a lovely sunny autumn day here.
You have had a bit of a mixture, but we have been out and about. You'll see in this film there's been a bit of a lockdown though, so a bit restricted.
Yeah, the centre of Venice is locked down, which means that we're back into going shopping only for food, one at a time. But let's hope it doesn't last too long.
No, hope we enjoy the film.
Coming up, Venice is empty. New lockdown measures come into force. We seek splendid isolation in the northeast of the lagoon. More problems aboard. The water pump has broken. We are on our own on the Vaporetto as we go into Venice for food shopping and perhaps lunch. Walking through the silent streets is a little eerie.
We're just coming up to St Mark's Square, which is the busiest part normally of Venice. Usually this is teeming with people. You can see it's completely empty. And normally you would have to queue up to get a shot down there towards the British side. Only one person there today. Doing some work though.
Doge's Palace is closed along with all the other sites. No one is going anywhere.
Well, it's supposed to be at 6 o'clock where the restaurant's closed, but I'm not sure we're going to get lunch.
No, very unlikely. And lots of security personnel around.
Yeah.
Makes you think they're missing something.
Is there some sort of global epidemic or something?
Whole line of wrapped up gondolas. It's really quite sad. Once we have supplies, we decide to take a trip. Lockdown is a good time to explore the waterways. The sun is shining, there isn't a breath of wind, but hey, you can't have everything. Well, it's not high tide, is it? But I think we've got enough.
Yeah, that's right. It's not, but it is actually a falling tide, so we do have to be a little bit more careful. We can't go aground like we did last time. Well, I mean, you know, I'm sure we better reverse off, but if you're hard aground, we're not going to be lifted off by the tide. It is now going down, so we'll be a bit careful.
It is lovely though in the sunshine. There's something about sunshine in November. You just feel, I don't know, privileged and lucky. The Venice Lagoon looks like a tree of waterways. The branches are naturally deeper than the shallow water, and it's only possible for us to travel along one of the channels marked in blue. From Certosa to Burano, some channels are uncomfortably close to our 2-metre draft. We're planning eventually to go right up into the northeast corner. Uncharted waters for us, so we plan to wait for high tide. First stop then is the colourful houses of Burano. We like this anchorage because it's one of the few places deep enough out of the main waterway. Opposite the town, there's some marshland to explore. We still haven't got a motor for the dinghy, so that means rowing.
It's pretty bloody shallow, isn't it? I mean, look.
Yeah, I know, you can see it. Yeah, I mean, if we swing round, we're in nothing. The water is beautifully clear. A place for little fish, perhaps, or crabs.
Just going into the bank here. This little trap. So there must be something that comes down that bit of the stream. They net off and catch. Ah, look, it just comes in. This thing here, this net, feeds into the pot that's down there. It's under there. It just feeds it all in to a pot underwater. Another one here, look.
I know.
Net it off,
Oh.
and then you can actually see this one. It comes down into an underwater bit here. Is anything in there?
Yes, crabs. Quite a few of them. Back on the boat, I start some work. Our new comms system means we can pick up 4G and Wi-Fi at a distance, so we have plenty of data. It's also my turn to choose the film for tonight. Love Netflix. Meanwhile, Steve's in the galley.
Okay, here's a quick little one while we're sort of talking about life aboard. I think this sort of travel just changed things. I mean, in the UK, we're pretty cosmopolitan about in the sort of way that we cook, the foods that we eat. But the usual food is meat and 2 veg. And I was going to cook some chicken, some just fried chicken tonight. And normally that would be, you know, with some sort of potatoes and some greens of some sort. But I don't know, you sort of, this rubs off on you, the different ways of eating out here. And I just wouldn't do that here. So I'm doing some chicken. I'll stick that in the frying pan. But actually with it, I'm not going to have, you know, chips or any sort of potatoes or any sort of green veg really. I'm just going to have some tomatoes and some mozzarella. Mozzarella, you know, is fantastic here. And I'm going to just cut that up. So it's just the mozzarella, tomatoes, put it on top. A little bit of olive oil. Balsamic vinegar. This is the sort of concentrated stuff. Okay, so that's done. And yeah, it's not the usual chicken I do as fried chicken. I normally do drumsticks, so this was just left over from something that I had that I was making a stir fry from. But we put a bit of basil. I always have a little basil plant that lives out on deck on top of there. And that's it, job done. I think that's probably healthier than the usual things we would eat.
The next morning, the sunrise is too good to miss.
It's a chilly morning, but it is lovely. Quite a few people out and about. I suppose that's not surprising really, and they're on their way to work like anywhere else. Bit of a nicer place to go to work than most though. Don't get views like this on the 5:30 to London Bridge. I have to use my other hand. I'm just going to go round and round in circles.
Before we get moving though, the broken water pump needs replacing.
So as well as being noisy, these things do go through these diaphragms in here as they turn around. It's fairly vicious, this little piston action that it has, and it splits them. I go through about 2 a year, and they're about 20 quid each. So yeah, not a great design. I thought it would be these belts actually that would be going more often, but I've never had to replace that. That's lasted 4 years, but yeah, not the diaphragms. Hopefully the new pump will be a little bit more reliable than that. And someone's actually put some thought into the connectors here as well. These are pretty cool. That you can just, it's got an inbuilt filter with a ring on it, and you just push that all the way home and then lock it off with that. So same the other side, I'll put this on the pipe first, but then it just pushes in. You push it all the way home and then lock it in, so it's a little quick release thing to take it out. Pretty cool. I've had to take the accumulator out as well because it turns out the diaphragm was shot in that as well, so I put it all back together thinking, oh, that'll do it. And then if you come through to where the heater is in here, you'll see that we've got a drip in here from the pressure valve. There's a pressure valve on here as a safety thing, and yeah, I've got a little bit of plastic under to just protect the Webasto heater to stop too much water going on that. But yeah, it's pressure in this is obviously more than we had before, and the switch isn't up to it. So yeah, I'm going to have to decrease the pressure on the pump a little bit, and I will get an accumulator as well because that'll help just even out the flow a little bit. So yeah, it's never ending. So yeah, it's part of life on a boat.
With the new pump installed, at the peak of high tide, we head off into the wilderness. Just us and a few fishermen, one still wearing a mask. He's unlikely to catch anything but fish here though. The further we go up the lagoon, the more the wildlife takes over. It's so peaceful, and at the end, we're completely alone. Well, this is a really beautiful place. It took us about an hour and a half to get here from Burano, through lots of people fishing, sunbathing in the November sunshine. But now, look, there's absolutely nothing except us and the birds and stillness. And if I come down here, we can see that Steve is fishing.
About to fish.
Fishing with cheese?
Yeah, well, that's all I've got. It's cheese or salmon. Depends if they're gourmet fish or not. What do you reckon? There's cheese and stuff.
I think we've got more cheese, so I can sacrifice some cheese.
All right, well, I'll start with cheese. If I have no luck with cheese, I'll go on to the salmon.
I'd rather not sacrifice our salmon, you know, just in case.
Well, I haven't tried this. This is the rod that we got when we were in the Mar Menor. It was donated to us by Manny's Bar, which is very nice of them. And I haven't really properly used it yet. I did have a little bit of a fish in there, but I did make up this because I think, I mean, I don't know about these fish. I don't know what fish I'm trying to catch, to be honest, at all. But the guys that are fishing here, they're not sort of fly fishing, they're not going in and reeling in, which I think is what you do with sea bream, which is what I was trying to catch in the Mar Menor. So here they've just got them in and they're just watching. I haven't got floats, I haven't got all that sort of stuff. So I've got this that I've made up. So it's a stone with a hole in it, which will go to the bottom, and then it's got a cork, so that should float up away from the bottom.
Ingenious.
Ingenious. It's
Absolutely
got to work,
brilliant.
isn't it?
I reckon it'll definitely work. And we've got what, about 2 metres under us, something like that?
Yeah, it's very shallow. So yeah, I don't know put how much line, but yeah, let's see. I mean, I think we've got the fish all to ourselves because there's no one else here. So I mean, they've got to. If anyone's going to catch a fish, it's going to be me.
And this is the right time, isn't it? You know, lovely
apparently,
evening.
As the sun goes down, they all say, as the sun goes down. It's not already. Look at that. God.
Okay, well I'll switch off now and switch on back again in what, about an hour, something like that?
Oh, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okie doke. All right, bye. Do you want to come in now?
I think I've got enough.
Yeah, plenty. One day we will have fish for supper, just not today. This is the perfect place for bird watching though. The egrets spend hours and hours waiting to catch fish. It's shallow enough for them to wade through the marshes. The swans were a big surprise, just one pair of them. And one lone fisherman up here. Even in the sun, it's getting cold, but Steve is determined to go swimming. I see you got my suit out as well. That was a bit optimistic, wasn't it?
Well, you're not coming?
No.
I do need a suit, it's going to be cold. But I shouldn't complain because I think most of the world has seen that video of that Norwegian girl digging the hole in the ice and getting in now with virtually no clothes on. So compared to that, this should be lovely. It's
been so warm all day.
I know, but trust me, it's freezing.
No.
Okay,
I'll just keep rolling, shall I?
Yes.
A few seconds.
Woo! That is gold.
Lovely though?
Oh, lovely is not the word I'd use. Well, that was a truly wonderful anchorages. I think it's one of the best anchorages we've ever been in.
It was so peaceful. I mean, we'll be going back now we know we can get there.
Yeah, anytime it's high tide, we can squeeze our way down there. And JP from Classic Boats here has said we can borrow one of his kayaks, which is very kind of him as well. Great place to explore there. So.
Oh, absolutely. Once you're high off the water, you could just go in and out all around, can't you?
Oh yeah, there's endless places to go on a kayak, and you can really sort of get some distance. It's a little bit difficult in the dinghy, rowing the dinghy.
Well, I don't know. I think we're doing all right. Anyway, it's just as well we can go on the water because now that Venice is locked down, we'll be here for a wee while, I think. I mean, that is not in town.
Yes, the rules are, I mean, we're not in one of the strictest zones here. There are red zones where it's proper lockdown. We're not, we're in the lowest zone actually here, but within Venice town centre itself, they've said that they want to reduce the crowds. I mean, as you saw, there wasn't much of a crowd there even before lockdown, but they don't want tourists just wandering around. So you're only allowed out now to go to the shops, and it's supposed to be one person in the shop at any one time. So yeah, they just don't want just people wandering aimlessly around.
Well, it's good to be safe. I mean, that's the thing. If we can be safe now,
I
mean, we're not the only ones here in Venice. Obviously, other countries are going through a similar lockdown. I think probably the idea is that we can then be a little bit more relaxed over Christmas time. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, and they are very serious with their mask here. You saw in the film there, the guy on his own fishing in the middle of nowhere, still wearing a mask. So, you know, it's really sort of everyone does it. So it's really good. You feel safe here.
We do. And we will keep filming. So we will be trying to put episodes out over the winter as far as we can until you get very bored of Steve trying to fix things.
Yeah, it's an ever-growing list. The pump still isn't completely finished. The switch had burnt out. So, but they're very good. They're sending me a new one straight away. So we'll get that done, and I've got something hashed up in the interim, so that's okay. And it's just nice. There's still people around here. Someone actually came past the other day with a present for us, didn't they?
Yes, San Martini biscuits for the holiday they have here on the 11th of November. Nowhere else has that holiday, but just Venice does, so it was very kind.
So thank you, Andrea. It was really nice. Really nice to get that, who's just a viewer that had seen us and brought us a present, so it was lovely.
Anyway, thank you to our patrons, thank you to our subscribers, and thank you for watching. We're enjoying it and we'll keep going. So see you next time.
Thanks for watching.